Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punches!
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig? Today is Wednesday, November 13, 2024, coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. Today in the Oval Office, President Joe Biden welcomed a lying piece of shit to the Oval Office. We'll tell you about that particular meeting and how Joe Biden showed that he has more integrity than the person who he met with. Well, the Orange Clown is also announcing his cabinet members, and so he just named somebody to be Attorney General who's been accused of sleeping with underage girls. Too bad Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. He probably will be the Treasury Secretary. Also, we'll be under a MAGA government as the Republicans gain control over the House and the Senate selects their new leader. It's a lot we want to break down, folks, about that. Plus, we'll talk to the Black Texas principal who was forced to resign over critical race theory. Why are they still jacking with homeboy? Plus, the daughter of Sheila Jackson Lee gets sworn in for the remainder of her late mother's term. In Tech Talk, Fanbase founder Isaac Hayes will talk about all the folks who are fleeing Elon Musk's social media platform, Twitter. Yeah, I still call it Twitter because it's turned into a right-wing cesspool. It's time to bring the funk on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Let's go.
He's got it. Whatever the biz, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, roll, roll, y'all. It's Roland Martin, yeah. Rolling with Roland now. He's funk, he's fresh, he's real, the best, you know he's Roland Martin now.
What has made the United States different from so many other democracies is that we've always had what is called a peaceful transfer of power, even when there had been contested elections. In 2000, Vice President Al Gore lost by 537 votes to Texas Governor George W. Bush. What did Al Gore do after the Supreme Court weighed in? He gave a speech. He later certified the results. Then Bush came to the White House. He met with Bill Clinton. Peaceful transfer of power. 2008, same thing. Same thing happened. And guess what? 2016 election. What happens? Hillary Clinton, then Secretary of State, loses to Donald Trump. And this is what took place after the election.
Conversation with President-elect Trump. It was wide-ranging. We talked about some of the organizational issues in setting up a White House. We talked about foreign policy. We talked about domestic policy. And as I said last night, my number one priority in the coming 2 months is to try to facilitate a transition that ensures our president-elect is successful.
All right, so that was President Obama. This is what presidents do, even if they lose, even if their chosen candidate loses, even if their party loses. Well, today, guess what? President Joe Biden welcomed this lying, narcissistic insurrectionist to the Oval Office. Watch this.
Make sure you're accommodated, what you need, and we're going to get a chance to talk about some of that today. So good. Welcome.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much. And politics is tough, and it's in many cases not a very nice world, but it is a nice world today, and I appreciate very much a transition that's so smooth.
Oh no! Hold up! Let's go ahead. Play that again. Because you notice how I say, "Oh, it's nice today." Oh, cause you won. Go ahead and play it again.
Make sure you're accommodated, what you need, and we're going to get a chance to talk about some of that today. So good. Welcome.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much. And politics is tough, and it's in many cases not a very nice world, but it is a nice world today, and I appreciate very much a transition that's so smooth. It'll be as smooth as it can get, and I very much appreciate that, Joe.
You're welcome.
Oh, a transition so smooth as it gets, and I appreciate that. So we chose y'all the video from 2016. We chose y'all the video today. Oh, here was the video from 2020. That's what took place. See, you gotta understand. All right, y'all can. So again, on that day, after the loss, Donald Trump kept contesting the election. Donald Trump kept saying, oh, he was cheated. All of those different things. Remember all of that? That's what all that was happening. And so he could not come to the conclusion. He could not accept the peaceful transfer of power. He could not accept that he actually lost. No, what he decided to do was sic his supporters, and it looked like this and sounded like this on January 6th.
Multiple capital injuries. Multiple capital injuries.
So y'all saw that? Oh, this fool walking in with a Trump flag draped on him. Remember, they also came to the Capitol with their Confederate flags. Oh, but see, Trump and MAGA, they're perfectly fine. Oh yeah, let's if the Democrats could just be peaceful, if they could just accept their losses. See, y'all remember on election day, Trump put out that, oh, election fraud in Pennsylvania, the authorities are coming. Then when he won, oh, it's all good, it's all good. Oh, all good, it's all good. See, that's what they do. See, when they lose, oh, let's actually throw the nation into an uproar. Let's actually have this big old drama. In fact, again, so Trump wins. Here's Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. Doesn't this sound a little bit different than 4 years ago?
Because of all the emphasis we placed on that, and because of all the attention the American people put on it, that I think we were able to limit to a high degree the amount of fraud and irregularity and many of the things that concerned all Americans after 2020. So that's a good sign. It's another hopeful reason.
I got to go ahead and just stop that bullshit, because it wasn't what, oh, all Americans. No, it was what you crazy-ass MAGA people. Oh, so now because y'all won, oh, everything is good. Election was clear. Everything was fine. Everything is straight. This is what cheaters do. Let me be real clear. These people have no honor. They have no decency. They have no integrity. They have no character. They have no principles. They have no ethics. And I'm going to tell you right now, President Joe Biden, better man than me. Because when that piece of crap would not accept a peaceful transfer of power, when he would not invite Biden to the Oval Office, when he skipped the inauguration, I would have repaid his ass with the same. These people are shameful and despicable, because if they don't win, they literally would have they did try to overthrow an election. Rebecca Carruthers is Vice President, Fair Election Center out of D.C. Scott Bolden joins us now, of course, lawyer in D.C., former D.C. Democratic Party chair. Dr. Avis Jones-DeWeaver, political analyst out of D.C. as well. I mean, I'm just being, I don't give a damn of what these people think, Avis. These people are corrupt. They are shameful. And for him to sit there, oh, yes, we're going to have a peaceful transfer of power, when his lying insurrectionist ass did none of that 4 years ago.
Absolutely none of it. I mean, let's just call a thing a thing. He's a criminal. He's a liar. He led a coup against the United States of America. That would make him a traitor. So to sit here today and act all kumbaya shows you that he is who he is. He's a con artist, he's a shuckster, and he's there acting like, okay, I'm the good guy. But at the same time, we see all the ridiculousness that he's already doing in terms of his cabinet appointments, in terms of what he's talking about he wants to do when he gets in office. So he can play a charade for a few minutes today, but we know who he is, and we know what we have to do in order to survive the next 4 years.
For me, Rebecca, I'm sorry, I simply cannot, nor will I, forget 4 years ago. Not going to happen.
You know, and nor will history forget what happened 4 years ago.
But clearly, these American folks have, because it's kind of like, oh, yeah, whatever. Yeah, we're good. Bring them on back in.
You know what? I was actually looking up today, how do bears hibernate? I was like, how do we hibernate for the next 4 years and then figure out at the end of 4 years? But the thing is, I understand there's a lot of people in this country that are upset and rightfully upset. There are a lot of people who are going to be hurt. There's also some people who are going to have to figure it out and find out what happens next. You know, I've been thinking more about a lot of the Black liberation people in our history. And I've really been leaning into the most important thing in liberation right now is rest. For those who support democracy in this country, there's going to be a hell of a fight. And it's very important that right now people rest and try not to consume all of the craziness and all of the foolishness that's going to dribble out, because we know that that's what's going to happen. It's going to be a whole ecosystem and echo chamber of nonsense, quite frankly. There are a lot of people who said, oh, America's better than that. Well, we're seeing that America is not better than that. And so for those who support liberation, the best thing that we all can do right now is actually rest.
For me, Scott, I cannot be silent. When I saw that clip earlier, first of all, I don't watch cable news. I don't give a damn what the cable channel is, because nearly all of them trash. They bore me to death. They talk about the same thing over and 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 over again. But for me, when I saw that clip on social, I'm sitting here going, what an asshole. Oh yes, we're gonna have the smoothest transfer, the smoothest as you can possibly get. Oh, forget the fact that I tried to overthrow the government. Forget the fact that I was impeached as a result of that. Forget the fact that I was such a petulant ass that I skipped the inauguration. I wouldn't do any of the things that required a peaceful transfer of power. Oh, but you now want everyone else to be on bended knee. This man will never be called president by me. I would never see him as the president. He has disgraced the office, and he has no business being there. So I cannot give someone respect for an office that they had no respect for themselves.
I saw it, and I just wanted to throw up, be honest with you. I mean, Roland, you know what really bothers you, maybe me, but you all also, is there's something fundamentally wrong about how we believe in freedom, justice, and equality and democracy in this country. And America, Donald Trump, but America has endorsed this behavior, the majority of Americans. And somehow America has rewarded just atrocious behavior, atrocious character and personality, and really criminal conduct. And he's going to be in the White House for a second term. It's just something illogical about that based on how we think, how we were raised, what we've been taught. It's just fundamentally wrong. I keep trying to wake up, but that nightmare is still there because somewhere down the line, the arc of history is, I've been trained to believe, bends towards justice. And yet there is no justice in him re-entering the White House. And you know what? Here's the other thing. I agree with you. I'm like, Biden, the hell with him. I'm not inviting him to the White House. Let him figure it out. And, retribution or revenge or whatever you call it, I'm going to give him the same behavior that he gave me because that's what he deserves. And yet somehow America, ironically, would not forgive Biden and the Democrats if they acted the same way he did. He gets a pass on bad behavior. He's so bad, we almost forget all the bad acts. And with the endorsement of the people of America, it says more about America than it does about him because the voters should have rejected him. But it didn't matter to them. I don't care how you blame it, whatever the autopsy report says. There's something fundamentally wrong about this, almost anti-American, and yet all of us are struggling to figure out either what happened, how we fix it, or how do we survive or let alone succeed with this leadership, this MAGA leadership, our greatest nightmare, So we got to keep looking at it, man.
I simply don't believe, Avis, that the way you respond to evil is to hug it, embrace it, and sit with it. I just don't believe that.
Absolutely not. I completely agree with you. You get the energy from me that you give to me. And here is the challenge with this kumbaya moment that the Democrats seem to be stuck on stupid around. It's because this is not a balanced scenario. When the Republicans act a fool, then Democrats have to act all cordial, go out of their way, bend their backs backwards to try to be able to roll out the red carpet for them, not just in ceremonial situations like this, but look at how they're going to act, okay, in terms of legislation. We remember, for example, and how they have acted. We remember how when Barack Obama was in office, we remember that was a moment in when this country was facing a critical financial crisis. We were on the verge of having a catastrophe economically in this nation. And when people all over this nation were losing their jobs, they were losing their life savings, they were losing their houses, you had Mitch McConnell stand there and say his number one job was to make Barack Obama a one-term president. That is the difference between these two parties. He didn't give a damn about the American people. What he gave a damn about was power. And his idea was to do everything he could to sabotage Barack Obama's effectiveness, be damned about the implications to the American people, just so he could maximize his chance of getting back in power, which he was able to successfully do 2 years later. And so I have to say that these two things are not the same. They are not the same. We're going to see how they're going to run amok. They're going to run amok at least for the next 2 years in Congress. But if the Democrats are to be able to take control over, look how much they're going to try to work with them. Look how much they're going to try to compromise. They don't have the same sort of chutzpah, honestly, that the Republicans do when they have the opportunity to stop a train rearing down the tracks towards impending doom for the American people.
Yeah, and this is what you see. This is what you get. I'm going to go to a break. We come back. I'm gonna talk about who this fool picked to be the Attorney General. Why is that important? Because it also shows you, again, the stupid game that Democrats play. They play the game of, let's pick somebody who's going to be down the road, who Republicans are going to support, even keel. Then what happens? Crazy man comes in and it's like, yo, I'm going to pick somebody who wants to party with 17-year-olds and who was walking around on the House floor showing videos of little girls he's having sex with. That's Trump's pick for Attorney General, the chief law enforcement officer of the United States. Yeah. Folks, support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. Let me tell you right now, it's going to be a whole lot of this over the next 4 years. Y'all are going to need a place to come to make sense of this nonsense. Because I'm telling you right now, CNN full of shit. They not going to do it, okay? That network barely going to be on the air over the next 4 years. And so MSNBC's in a tailspin. We already know how crazy deranged Fox News is. There's no other place, there's no other black-owned media platform in America that does what we do. Not one. The work that we do here at the Black Star Network, TV One don't do, Radio One don't do, BET doesn't do, Essence doesn't do, not Blavity, not Black Enterprise, not Ebony, not any of these folks. This show and the other shows that we have and that we want to add are all about speaking truth to the issues and representing our interest in these yet-to-be United States of America. So support our work. First and foremost, if you got Cash App, this is how you can use Cash App. Cash App took away our accounts. They claim because of the business that we have. This is how you can contribute. Point your phone to that QR code right there, and then that will allow you to be able to send us a donation via Cash App. Also, you can send your check and money order, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C., 20037-0196. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. We'll be right back.
Pull up a chair. Take your seat at the Black Table with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
Hi, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Fanbase is a free-to-download, free-to-use, next-generation social media platform that allows anyone to have followers and subscribers on the same page. Fanbase was built through investment dollars from equity crowdfunding from the Jobs Act. People just like you helped build Fanbase, and we're looking for more people to help build Fanbase. We are currently raising $17 million in a Regulation A crowdfund on StartEngine. We've already crossed $2.1 million, but we're looking to raise more capital from people just like you that deserve the opportunity to invest in early-stage startups without having to be accredited investors. So right now, I'd like you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase right now, today. And then use Fanbase to connect with friends, grow your audience, and be you without limits.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jackie Hood Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. We'll laugh together, cry together, pull ourselves together, and cheer each other on. So join me for new shows each Tuesday on Black Star Network, A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Devon Franklin. It is always a pleasure to be in the house. You are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered. Stay right here.
Well, last night, Donald Trump announced that he was picking a Fox News anchor who's never run an office in his life, Peter Hegseth, to be his Secretary of Defense. Oh, boy, he said, hold my beer. Today, he announced that Eddie Munster is going to be his pick to be Attorney General. Come on, guys, go to my iPad. Thank you. That's right. Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz, Eddie Munster, that's the guy Trump wants to be head of the Department of Justice. Okay, really? Matt Gaetz. Is this the same Matt Gaetz who a member of Congress said this about him?
You got to think about this guy. This is a guy that the media didn't give a time of day to after he was accused of sleeping with an underage girl. And there's a reason why no one in the conference came and defended him, because we had all seen the videos he was showing on the House floor that all of us had walked away of the girls that he had slept with. He'd brag about how he would crush ED medicine and chase it with an energy drink so he could go all night. This is obviously before you got.
Now, y'all, that's a Republican. That's not a Democrat talking about Matt Gaetz. That's a Republican. How about former Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy? Listen to this.
And I'll give you the truth why I'm not Speaker. It's because one person, a member of Congress, wanted me to stop an ethics complaint because he slept with a 17-year-old. An ethics complaint that started before I ever became Speaker, and that's illegal, and I'm not going to get in the middle. Did he do it or not? I don't know. But ethics is looking at it. There's other people in jail because of it. And he wanted me to influence it. And I'll give you the truth.
Yep. That's the same person. Same guy. Oh, do you need another Republican? Go.
The House is a rough and rowdy place, but Mike Johnson is going to be just fine. I served 20 years in the military. It's my absolute honor to be in Congress, but I served with some real scumbags. Look, Matt Gaetz, he paid minors to have sex with him at drug parties. Bob Good endorsed my opponent, a known neo-Nazi. These people used to walk around with...
Yep, that's exactly who they want. That's who y'all voted for? I know I ain't vote for that fool. Now you got Republicans like Tommy Tuberville and others. Matter of fact, if you want to see how much of an ass he is, this was at the Republican National Convention while Kevin McCarthy was giving an interview. Watch.
But what you're seeing here, a more united Republican Party. Think back 8 years ago. Ted Cruz wouldn't endorse. Senator Lee was saying no to President Trump. Now you've got Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis. You're watching a united party like we haven't been in the past. One who's not coming back, and then the other part that you have, and the other part you have is one person who raised the issue. He's got an ethics complaint about sleeping with a 17-year-old. So that's the way they would go. So that's the biggest.
See, those are the kind of people Donald Trump wants. Now, Democrats, of course. When President Joe Biden had an opportunity to pick his attorney general, he chose to go with the very sober and somber Merrick Garland. The same Merrick Garland who moved like a damn turtle when it came to prosecuting Donald Trump, and one of the reasons why those cases have delayed, because he waited too damn long. Scott Bolden, I'm gonna go ahead and say this, and I really, Scott, I really tried my best to give him the benefit of the doubt. And let me be real clear. I wanted Biden to pick Doug Jones. I thought that Doug Jones could have been a much better attorney general. But Scott, I'm gonna go ahead and say, Scott, I'm just gonna go ahead and say, Merrick Garland was awful. He's been an awful attorney general. You had everything there in front of you, and he was scared and timid to prosecute Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's a judge, one, and
No. He's a retired judge. As attorney general, he's not a judge.
If you let me finish, I was going to say that, but are you done? Because I was going to say
I'll be done when I'm done.
Judge by training. Okay, well, go right ahead. You tell me when you're done.
I said I'll be done when I'm done.
You can speak.
Go ahead. And you're wearing the damn ascot wrong too. But go ahead.
I'm wearing it the way I want to wear it.
You're wearing it wrong.
About it. I'm wearing it like I want to wear it.
Yeah, and it's wrong. Go.
He's a judge by training, one. He's a judge by training. It's a scarf, by the way. It's not an ascot. That's why I can wear it that way. But he's a judge by training, and judges don't need to be the chief legal officer all the time because their jurisprudence tells them to take time and what have you. As a prosecutor, sometimes you can't take all the time in the world. He's very cautious, and I agree with you. The delay was the delay, and that contributed to why the prosecutions took so long. But let me tell you, the Gates appointment is full of conflicts, first of all. And they may rue the day that he nominated Gates, because while he's under investigation for sleeping with 17-year-olds, right? You haven't heard a whole lot about it, but it's still there. That conflict may play out in the Senate. Either they vetted Matt Gaetz, which they didn't. They only came up with this a few days ago. It's going to play out in the Senate, and all the details are going to come out.
No, it's not.
So?
No, it's not.
Oh, the Democrats.
No. The Democrats are going to do that. Remember a few moments ago, Rebecca, I played that video of a Republican from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Talking about Gates running around on the floor, showing videos. Here's the same Republican today. Rebecca, listen.
Are you going to vote for Matt Gaetz?
You know, Matt Gaetz and I, there's no question that we've had our differences. They've been very public about it. I completely trust President Trump's decision-making on this one. But at the same time, he's got to come to Congress and sell himself. There's a lot of, or to the Senate and sell himself. There's a lot of questions that are going to be out there. He's got to answer those questions. And hopefully he's able to answer the questions right. And if he can, then we'll go through the confirmation process.
Senator Markwayne Mullin from the great state of Oklahoma.
But Roland, that's not a ringing endorsement.
No. Rebecca, here's why that's stupid. I trust Trump's decision making. You the same one who said this man ran around on the floor showing us videos of 17-year-olds he was having sex with and how he would take erectile dysfunction pills, crush it up, and mix it and chase it with an energy drink so he can have sex all night. And your punk ass, your weak ass goes on television. Well, you have the differences between Matt Gaetz and I, but I trust the decision making, of Donald Trump. These Republican senators, y'all, I'm trying hard. So I know some of y'all out there, y'all keep asking me not to cuss. Okay, some of y'all, I had a brother who said, man, I watched the show with my daughters. So y'all, go ahead, just turn the volume down just for 5 seconds, okay? That's all I'm asking you, okay? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rebecca, this is bitch assness. These Republicans, they are bitch assness. There's no other, I can't use any other, to sit. Your job is to advise and consent. And I trust the judgment of Donald Trump. Tommy Tuberville, he now, we're going to run people out of the Senate if they oppose any of Donald Trump's picks. Rebecca, gone.
You know what? The only people that I trust to fight right now, if I was going to war and I had to pick who my fighters are, it would be black women and some black men, quite frankly, full stop. Democratic Party isn't run by a black woman. Republican Party isn't run by a black woman. When we see what's going on, when we see what our country is about to face, especially with fascists, those who are anti-democratic, who are now taking over government, when we think about all the corruption that happened in the first Trump presidency, all of the people who went to prison, imagine that, but 10, 20, 50-fold in the second Trump administration. I think there's going to be lots of chaos, quite frankly. And there's a lot of people who they asked for it because they didn't think that water, some people say water isn't wet, but guess what? I know that fat meat is greasy. And what we're seeing is a lot of grease, a lot of fat. One thing that I also understand is that the judiciary, the federal judiciary, is at risk because of the shenanigans and the corruption that's going to come out of this next administration. I'm very concerned what's going to happen with our federal courts. I also understand how Peter Thiel and the rest of them roll, and I am quite confident that Trump will also get 25th Amendment. Because look at J.D. Vance and how he's set up and who specifically backs him. I think there's going to be a lot of chaos. I think there's going to be a lot of privatization of government. There's going to be a lot of no-bid contracts. There's going to be a lot of billionaires who are making double, triple their current worth. I think that's what we're about to see over the next few years. People just need to understand what's going on here, Avis. These people are sick and deranged, and guess what? I know how I voted, and I'm gonna sit back and say, no, this on y'all ass. No, this on y'all. This on y'all.
It absolutely is. Here's the thing: the Republicans are in a position where, if Donald Trump says jump, they'll say how.
Wait, hold on. I want you. I know somebody right now is saying, well, come on now. I think, Avis, you are being, let me find it. They said, Avis, I just think you going a little too far. Y'all, Avis ain't going far, because I want y'all to listen to this.
There's no question he's the leader of our party. So now he's got a mission statement, his mission, and his goals and objectives, whatever that is, we need to embrace it. All of it. Every single word. If Donald Trump says jump 3 feet high and scratch your head, we all jump 3 feet high and scratch our heads. That's it.
That is a Republican member of Congress from Texas, Avis.
And there it is. Okay, so that's what you're in for. So no matter what level of ridiculousness he puts up there, they are going to go ahead and push it through. But I have to agree with your original point. I knew from day one Merrick Garland was trash. I'm just going to go out there and say that too. I know you're that same person not going to like that either, but I'm keeping it real tonight, okay? I knew from day one he was going to be a punk. And the only reason why he's there is because Barack Obama tried to get him as his final appointment to the Supreme Court, even though we were trying to push him at the time to get a black woman. And what happened? Okay, that was the stolen seat. Okay, the Senate never even gave him the dignity of meeting with him, and so Biden comes in and he throws him that. In some way to make up for not being able to be on the Supreme Court. I was thinking from the very beginning it should have been Letitia James. If it was her, okay, we wouldn't be messing around with this years later. She would have acted immediately. Once again, a black woman, okay? So I just have to say that I'm not surprised we're here. And part of the reason why we're here is we didn't have strong leadership in the DOJ. And now we're here with a clown that they have put up to head the DOJ. Thanks a lot, Merrick Garland. Appreciate that.
We are going to see absolute madness and craziness. Folks need to understand this. This idiot has picked somebody who's been called a Russian mole in former Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard as the Director of National Intelligence. He literally has picked an idiot. Okay, Peter Hegseth, he's an American hero. Oh, he wasn't no Army Ranger, he was a National Guard. You mean to tell me that your pick to be Secretary of Defense, Scott, is somebody who was the weekend anchor on Fox News? He ain't never led a staff. You now gonna put him in charge of a department that's almost with a $900 billion budget and 2 million employees.
You know, experience matters, especially in this particular case. I mean, you know, when you don't have experience, you don't know what you don't know. And by the way, this same appointee, he doesn't think women should be in the military. He doesn't believe transgendered individuals ought to serve in the military. He wants them to be out of the military because he says they don't add any value to the military. So now keep that in mind, given that he's got to not only lead, but he's against DEI in the military, which is one of the first organizations, I think, in the 40s that allowed integration. What is he going to do with all those black and brown soldiers that he doesn't think add value? And so that's a real problem. The other thing is, just real quick, Roland, is when you don't know what you don't know and you don't have the experience, then you rely on people to give you all sides of the story, all sides of the issue, but they have political agendas. They have their own motivations. And so you're subject to that versus having your own independent judgment and moving troops, if you will, and managing a $9 billion budget. That budget on the contracts that are going to be no bid contracts, that's the part that my colleague was talking about. They're going to walk out the door. That money walking out the door. And so that's what the lack of experience gets you. Well, one other point about Gates is this. Gates is the retribution nominee. Gates is going to go after with DOJ behind him. He's going to be whispering in Trump's ear, and he's going to be the retribution nominee, whereby if you cross Donald Trump, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, he's going to send DOJ after you. You watch, because that's the political side of Matt Gaetz. It's just an awful appointee. Both of these appointees that you've raised are just awful for America. I don't think they can be confirmed. They may not be able to get confirmed.
No. Let me tell you, they are. First of all, you've already heard Rebecca. You've already heard him, Trump say, demand recess appointments. But you have look. These Republicans are going to kiss their butt. This is the dumbest United States Senator, Tommy Tuberville, out of Alabama, on Fox. Listen to this.
Matt Gaetz get the votes in the Senate?
I don't know. You're finding all the swamp creatures coming out right now. Everybody's got an opinion up here, but at the end of the day, President Trump was elected by an enormous vote, and he deserves a team around him that he wants. It's not us to determine that. We've got 53 votes in the Senate. We can confirm with 51. I've already seen where a couple of them says, I'm not voting for him. Wait a minute. You are not the United States of America. You have one vote in the U.S. Senate. You did not get elected president. Vote with President Trump. This is the last chance we're going to have of saving this country. And if you want to get in the way, fine. But we're going to try to get you out of the Senate, too, if you try to do that.
What?
Okay, I'm sorry. Rebecca, the job of the United States Senate, per the Constitution, is to advise and consent. And so, yeah. And this is where I hope Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, this is where I hope Susan Collins of Maine, this is where I hope you have 4 Republican senators who have any modicum of sense would say, no, you're not going to get that idiot.
You know, I'm thinking about my home state state senator, Senator Ernie Chambers. Ernie Chambers is in his 80s now, and I've watched him run ramshot against a very extremely conservative unicameral in Nebraska. He was one of 49. The reason why he was able to make that body come to a stop at his will is because he really understands a parliamentary procedure. When a political party is in a position the way the Democrats are now, the only path forward when it comes to stopping bad legislation, stopping recess appointments, is understanding party procedure. One of the things I do know is that the incoming Senator Angela Alsobrooks, Congressman Glenn Ivey, they better be prepared to camp out in the Capitol to make sure that the Congress doesn't go into recess if indeed the Republicans are able to negotiate and be able to get recess appointments. I also know, just like you mentioned last week, is that for the Democrats, Dick Durbin needs to get on it, needs to pull all the blue slips, and he needs to ram through the rest of the judiciary appointees. What's the point I was making earlier of Black women are the people who I would respect and gladly go into battle with, and some Black men, is quite frankly, we know how to fight. We've been here the longest. We are the original. We know how to fight. We've seen it. We've done it. Our ancestors will guide us. But one thing that I do know is that right now we're seeing a very feckless opposition party. If democracy was truly on the ballot, the way Democrats said all year, then I need them to show up and do something. Didn't Kendrick Lamar say sometimes you got to pop out and you got to show them something? Well, that's what the Democratic Party needs to do right now. If they don't, they are feckless. They are complicit. And they are also supporting what we're going to see as a circus of government over the next few years if how Trump is setting up government indeed happens the way he's making the announcements today.
These people have no guts whatsoever. They will do a jig for this fool in a heartbeat, Avis. And so that's just what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. It certainly is. I mean, the bottom line is they understand, as was said by Tuberville, they are going to be targeted if they don't fall in line. So, you know, they often say Democrats fall in love, Republicans fall in line. I mean, in this particular scenario, that's a heightened circumstance because they know that this is someone who holds a grudge. This is someone who has a long memory. This is someone who will go out and target. If they could get rid of Liz Cheney in the way that they got rid of Liz Cheney, just think, who's safe? None of them are anywhere near the stature of a Liz Cheney, okay? And so they understand that, and the bottom line is they prioritize their self-preservation in the elected office more than they prioritize the needs of the American people. And so they will do whatever he says.
Yep, that's what's going to happen. And so I'm just letting y'all know it's going to be more crazy, more fools, more idiots. And so we're going to call it out, but just understand, those of you who chose to vote for this, this is all yours. It's all on you. All right, folks, got to go to a break. We come back. More on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Again, don't forget, support the work that we do. Join our Bring It Funk fan club. See, you can now give via Cash App, via Stripe. And so utilize this QR code right here to contribute via Cash App. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing on average $50 each a year to raise $1 million. That's $4.19 a month, 13 cents a day. That's critically important because the work that we do, we don't get money from billionaires and other folks along those lines. And so what we do is depend upon your support for the work that we do. You can also give via check and money order, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C., 20037-0196. PayPal, R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Download the Black Star Network app, Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. We'll be right back.
Hatred on the streets, a horrific scene, a white nationalist rally that descended into deadly violence.
White people are losing their damn minds.
As an angry pro-Trump mob storms the U.S. Capitol, we've seen shooting.
We're about to see the rise of what I call white minority resistance. We have seen white folks in this country who simply cannot tolerate black folks voting.
I think what we're seeing is the inevitable result of violent denial.
This is part of American history. Every time that people of color have made progress, whether real or symbolic, there has been what Carol Anderson at Emory University calls white rage as a backlash.
This is the rise of the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys. America, there's going to be more of this.
Here's all the Proud Boys, guys.
This country is getting increasingly racist in its behaviors and its attitudes because of the fear of white people.
The fear that they're taking our jobs, they're taking our resources, they're taking our women. This is white fear. Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punch! I'm real revolutionary right now.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
Pull up a chair, take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
How you doing? My name is Mark Carey, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered. Deep into it, like pasteurized milk without the 2%. We getting deep. You want to turn that shit off? We're doing an interview, motherfucker.
3 years ago, a black Texas high school principal was forced to resign after being accused of promoting critical race theory. It was all a lie. James Whitfield, the first black principal at Colleyville Heritage High School in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, now says a Grapevine Colleyville Independent School District Board of Trustee member has defamed him. Whitfield says Tammy Nakamura lied about him during a forum. And this is after they'd already settled, and they were not supposed to talk about him publicly, nor he. But, oh, she had something to say.
I think I had given a couple examples in GCISD, but going back to the principal of Colleyville Heritage High School, that we found out he was a total activist. And of course, we were branded and put on national television, just like South Lake was, that we fired him because he was married to a white woman. And I went in last week and read the whole file. And if you read the whole file, you'll see exactly why he was, there was a letter sent out at 4:30 in the morning from him, a 3-page letter to all of the parents. That's the straw that broke the camel's back, if you want to say, that got him fired. It had nothing to do with the person. Someone stood up at a school board meeting and asked for his resignation based on FOIAs that were done that showed that he was pushing a movement through. And when they did that, of course, that gentleman was called a racist and a white supremacist and put on national television of all of these things. But there's 100%, I mean, there is absolute proof that what he was trying to do. And again, if we don't stand up now, it's not in all of our classrooms, it's not everywhere. Actually, it's not in most of them. But we have a list of those who it's in, and they have to be stopped now because most of the teachers are absolutely wonderful. And there are all the things that we've said. They've had to work twice as hard for less pay, They've just been stretched as far as they can. So we've got to help the teachers out, but we cannot have teachers such as these in our schools because they are just poison and they're taking our schools down.
All right, James Whitfield joins us right now. James, glad to have you back on the show. What the hell is going on?
Roland, thank you for having me again, man. I don't know. It has been crazy here in Northeast Tarrant County for the last several years. And, you know, like you mentioned, we went into a settlement agreement, and that agreement said that basically we're going to move on about our lives. We're going to go on about our business, and we're not going to defame each other. We're not going to disparage each other in the media. And I've upheld my end of the bargain throughout that time. As bad as there's more to the story that I would like to share, I've upheld my end of the bargain. And so when I was sent that in July of 2022, I just had to sit there and shake my head and go, why can't these people seem to leave me alone? Why do I occupy so much space in their minds?
And again, look, you left the district. You're now working somewhere else. You're not tied to them. And again, the settlement that y'all had, either one of you were not supposed to talk about one another, correct?
Correct.
So she did this here. But also, tell folks about, you went to court and some other craziness happened?
Yeah, so, you know, after that was brought to light that, you know, she sat up there, she lied, you know, said I was fired. We entered a settlement agreement. She called teachers and educators like me poison. She also referenced a list of educators that are in the district that they have, which they're in a lawsuit right now trying to hide that list. But, you know, me and my legal team sat down and we said, well, what is the next step? And ultimately, we want accountability. That's what we're, you know, accountability to the public. Because we entered into this agreement. And again, I've upheld my end of the bargain. So we go to court to make sure we're holding people accountable to that which they signed on paper. And the fact of the matter is, we knew here in Northeast Tarrant County, with the way the political structure of judges and people in positions of power are there, we knew the chances of doing this were going to be really, really difficult. But again, this is about truth and accountability. And so we did that, and we filed a lawsuit, and ultimately that was dismissed with prejudice. The judge that oversees that case, that was overseeing my case, there's very questionable ties between that judge and lawyer that represented at least two of the school board members that represented that are on the GCISD board. And so, I mean, I'm talking campaign contributions. I'm talking, you know, months after that campaign contribution, that particular lawyer even signs on to run for school board in GCISD. And then months later, while he was defeated by less than 50 points, 50 votes, the judge dismissed the case altogether. And so now we're at a stage of development where the judge has actually, not only she dismissed it, but she's allowed the district to come after me for the legal fees. So it's just the irony of, we go into an agreement, I uphold my end, you break the agreement, I sue you for breaking the agreement, and then now I'm on the hook for trying to pay your legal fees based on your actions.
What's next for you? What's your next move?
You know, we're currently weighing what will be next. You know, there's a lot to consider, especially where we're at in Northeast Tarrant County. So right now, we're just trying to spread the word that this is happening, like we've been trying for the last several years, because this serves as an effort to say, if you speak out, if you dare stand up for truth and accountability, we got something for you, so to speak. And so we're going to look at all options at our disposal to see what we can do to bring forth truth and justice.
Just literally just makes no sense whatsoever I mean, you left, you moved on, these folks, they're on the school board, and they continue to just want to keep bringing your name up, trashing you, and frankly, you know, impugning your name and questioning your integrity.
Yeah, I've been done with them, and I was good to move on. And like you said, when I saw that video, it was just this moment where I just put my head in my hands and go, I cannot believe that we're doing this again. One, I don't know this woman. This woman doesn't know me. Why are you talking about me? Why are you looking at my personnel file? I'm gone. I'm out of the district. But it serves, I've always served as a boogeyman for certain people in this area, and I know that. And so it's part of a larger, we know that this is part of a larger effort that we're seeing play out, not just in Northeast Tarrant County, but across the country. So it's imperative that we pay attention to what's going on in our school board elections, at our local level elections, judicial, who's on the ballot for the judicial races, see who they're tied to, because all of that matters, and I'm seeing it firsthand.
All right, James, we certainly appreciate it, man. Thanks a bunch, and just keep up the fight.
We shall, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
All right, thank you so very much. All right, folks, going to a break. We come back. More on Roland Martin Unfiltered, including Black and Missing. You're watching the Black Star Network. Back in a moment.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it.
This is about covering us.
Invest in black-owned media.
Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks.
We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Your money makes this possible.
Checks and money orders go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jackie Hood Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. We'll laugh together, cry together, pull ourselves together, and cheer each other on. So join me for new shows each Tuesday on Black Star Network, A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie.
Pull up a chair, take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
Hi, I am Tommy Davidson. I play Oscar on Proud Family, Louder and Prouder. I don't play Sammy, but I could. Or I don't play Obama, but I could. I don't do Stallone, but I could do all that. And I am here with Roland Martin on Unfiltered.
All right, folks, Deja Wyndham has been missing from her Placerville home, California home since July 18th. The 15-year-old is 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighs 200 pounds, of course, with black hair and brown eyes. Anyone with information about Deja Wyndham should call the El Dorado County Sheriff's Office at 530-621-5655, 530-621-5655. Okay, you know what? You know, when you lose an election, all kind of crazy stuff sort of happens. And you start getting people saying all sorts of stuff and throwing all sorts of stuff out there, and you start seeing this stuff. But then you have just some dumb ideas. I'm talking about dumb, idiotic ideas. And here's one that is, I just can't wait till the panel weigh in. David Axelrod Democratic strategist is literally, y'all, literally, go to my iPad. He is pushing for U.S. Ambassador to Japan, Rahm Emanuel, former mayor of Chicago, former congressman, former Obama chief of staff, to become the new chair of the Democratic National Committee. This is what Axelrod said on his podcast. If they said, well, what should we do? Who should lead the party? I would take Ambassador Rahm Emanuel and I would bring him back from Japan. I would appoint him chairman of the Democratic National Committee. So David Axelrod, you actually believe Rahm Emanuel wears one of these. You actually believe that, oh, here comes Rahm Emanuel in his white hat to save the party. The same Rahm Emanuel, when he was chief of staff, told progressives to shut the hell up and stop bringing up all those damn judges. The same Rahm Emanuel who didn't care about federal judges. All he cared about was the next election and the next bill. Well, guess what? That's one of the reasons why Mitch McConnell froze Obama out of 100 federal judges. Because, see, for Rahm Emanuel, that wasn't important. That Rahm Emanuel? David Axelrod, go sit your ass down. Ain't no way in hell should Democrats even call, text, email, send a pigeon to Rahm Emanuel. Not to lead the party in 2024. When are these Obama people going to learn? This ain't 2008. David Plouffe, Obama made Vice President Kamala Harris hire David Plouffe to get his endorsement. And what did he do? He came in with an ass-backwards-ass strategy that failed. Stephanie Cutter, awful on the campaign. And you actually think Rahm Emanuel is the answer? Not somebody from Wisconsin like Ben Winkler, where, of course, they flipped the state Supreme Court, where they, of course, won last time by 20,000 votes, where they actually have been making some progress. How about North Carolina, which, if you do the work, that could potentially turn into an actual purple state? How about Rahm Emanuel? Rahm Emanuel. Rahm Emanuel. Ava's gone ahead.
And the person that got caught lying about the activities of his police department when he was mayor of Chicago. Listen.
Held the Laquan McDonald tape for 13 damn months.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Forward.
Ava's gone ahead.
Yeah, I mean, this is the Chicago cabal. It is an attempt to, I mean, it's almost like, I hate to say it, it's like their own version of a little mob cabal, crime family. No, just the answer is no. Okay, just sit your ass down someplace. No, the answer is no. It's ridiculous. Sit down, shut up. I am so tired of so many of these folks in the Democratic Party who, first of all, these people who continue to get paid no matter how many failed strategies they launch. And then you have people like Axelrod who want to pontificate about getting his good friend another job that he don't need and isn't qualified for, and it just would be disastrous. So the answer, just for so many reasons, is no. Keep it moving.
Rebecca?
Roland, are you wearing the white hat because Olivia Pope? Is that? I'm trying to figure out the white hat reference here. I was thinking.
Well, I'm wearing a white hat because yesterday I had the blue one, day before I had the gray one, and so I wanted to wear my white Stetson today. Also because somebody has to come to the rescue and bring some damn common sense to what the hell is going on, because I'm seeing a lot of people, and I keep getting these texts and phone calls, and I get it. People, and you said it earlier, people need to rest, but people are sitting here, they in grief. Let me tell you something, okay? I ain't dealing with grief. The elections was November 5th. I was ready to roll November 6th. Why? Because there's some critical damn elections coming up in the first quarter, in the second quarter of 2025. We ain't got time to be sitting here, okay? And I get it. The election was over. But you know what happened? Them damn Republicans, when that punk-ass Donald Trump got beat, guess what they started planning for the next 4 years? Day after his ass lost. And so folk who oppose this evilness that's now happening in our country, this ain't no time to be sitting here licking your wounds. It's time for you to strategize, plan, and get ready to kick some ass.
So look, in 13 days, Mississippi actually has some more elections. There's a Supreme Court Mississippi race, and then there's a Court of Appeals race. And there's 3 HBCUs that are in those districts: Tougaloo, Jackson State, and Mississippi Valley State. So saying all that, yes, there's a lot of work to be done. I do, like I said earlier, I believe in the liberation concept of rest, because we're in for a long fight. But like I said last week to your audience, is bottom line, you know what, Black folks, go home, be selfish. Let these people fight it out. Because if after the shellacking that happened last week, because of the internal BS that happened, the sabotage within the party that happened to stop Kamala Harris from becoming the next president, we've all seen some of the leaked stories. We've seen some of the mismanagement of monies within certain Obama alum within the campaign that didn't direct money, regardless of Derek Johnson saying, hey, we know how to turn out Black voters in key areas. We know where the money should be spent, and those things went unaddressed. Those things went woefully ignored, and in my opinion, intentionally ignored. At this point, Black people, save yourselves. Like we just, at the previous block, we talked about what's going on in Tarrant County, and we talked about those judges. Guess what? In 2026, many of those judges are up for election. Black folks in Tarrant County, 1/3 of voters in Tarrant County are Black, 1/3 is Black, 1/3 is white. I believe 1/3 is Hispanic. Don't rely on the party to save you. Do something about it, because we see that there's lots of issues with those particular judges in Tarrant County. So I definitely hear what you're saying about now is not the time to go hide, but also people have to go rest, strategize, and then understand that we have to save our own communities. It's not going to be the Democratic Party, because if this is what they're offering us a bunch of BS. Like I said, I trust Black women and I trust some Black men right now when it comes to actually having a fight. But what I don't trust is people doing the same thing over and over and telling us, oh, this is what you need. One thing I remember about Rahm Emanuel is he was well known for sending dead fish to people's offices. We don't need that. This is not the 1990s. This is not the Clinton administration. I would say that for the good of the country, there needs to be some people moving on, but it has to be people who are not feckless. It has to be people who have true strategy and know how to fight. And so far, I'm not hearing from the Democratic Party that they're understanding what the fight is. Instead, they still want to play and say, oh, well, the issue is we didn't talk enough about the economy. The issue is we ignored the working class. No.
Yeah. Scott,
yeah,
Rahm Emanuel.
Yeah, I agree with what's been said already. Listen, I'm not into playing the blame game. Every time I read those reports, I shake my head, because that's not going to move us forward as a party or an organization. And I'll be honest with you, has she won, they'd all be experts and be hailed by everyone as winning this election. This election was still close. She didn't win the 7 blue wall states, but each of those races were within the margin of error, 1 to 3 points. And so the pundits kind of had it right. It was like a prize fight where you said, boy, this is a great fight at the end, but the losing fighter didn't win one round. You got to win a round. And she just didn't turn the corner on that. Secondly, where's the autopsy report? Before we start talking about who needs to lead the DNC, somebody needs to do an autopsy report politically and say, this is what happened here, including racism, sexism, Latino men, all the economy, what we didn't talk about. Give me an autopsy report and tell us what the plan is going forward. The DNC has the responsibility, or whoever else is involved with the DNC, to just do that, if you will. Because naming people to move forward, let me tell you something. Every election is different. We screwed this one up. We talked about personality and character. And you know what? For some reason, America still voted for a criminal versus a criminal prosecution. I don't know who there is to blame, but I know one thing. I don't want to lose again like this. And in 2 years, there's a House races coming up. And in 4 years, there's a Senate race and another presidential race coming up. What's his name? The current president, number 47, can't run again. So both parties are going to have to reorganize and figure out what their futures are. So I'd like to talk about that planning piece before we start talking about Rahm Emanuel or anybody else that's going to wear a white hat and come in and save us, because can't nobody save us but us, in my opinion.
See, the thing here for me, Avis, when we talk about what happened in this election, it's actually very basic and fundamental. It is. It really is no different than 2016. I remember about 60 days out, 2016, Congressional Black Caucus Foundation, ALC, Phoenix Awards dinner. I'm sitting at the table of Congressman Jim Clyburn, and he had his table guests come backstage. Now, we thought we were going backstage, take photos with Obama. But it was actually photos with Secretary Hillary Clinton. So I had my wife go in front of me. I said, because I'm going to say something to her. So you go in front of her first. We took a picture. And I said to her, I said, Madam Secretary, there is a lot of intensity out there for him. There's not a lot of intensity for you. I said, your team, they're not getting surrogates on shows like mine. I can't book them. I said, and I'm telling you, unless your folks change, I said, and get their heads out of their iPads, meaning stop focusing on the algorithms, y'all gonna lose. I said, you're gonna be a bridesmaid again. So she asked me to talk to Huma and Marlon Marshall. She might take pictures. So I go and talk to them. Now I'm talking to Huma, she's listening. Marlon Marshall looking at me like he pissed, like he got Mass attitude at me. And I'm like, and he was the highest ranking African American, like deputy campaign chair. I didn't give a shit. I was real clear. Right. I said, y'all are horrible. I said, y'all not booking black men. I've been asking. They had hired Jameer Burley, they'd hired Zelina Maxwell, people who came on my show regularly. They get hired by the campaign to do media, and they don't let them do media. It was the dumbest thing I ever said in the world. So I'm talking to them, and Hillary comes over, and Hillary says, she comes over and she says, well, I don't understand. If Roland's having a problem getting people on his show, I know other people are. And so Huma goes, Madam Secretary, we'll take care of it. She said, well, get it done. And then walks off and went and talked to then Congresswoman Marsha Fudge. That was Saturday night. The next day, 12 hours, I'm trying to get a black male surrogate on the show. I was trying to get Alvin Brown, somebody. I think finally I had to book down to Brazil for Tom Joyner the next morning. And it was the exact same thing. When you look at, this is the thing, when you had 81% white turnout in Georgia, what are y'all always hearing me say? Black people, we have to turn out at a bare minimum of 70% of our capacity. What have y'all been hearing me say on this show? The last two presidential elections, the white turnout was 70 to 72%. They expected, listen to me clearly, everybody, they expected white turnout was gonna drop below 70% for the first time in American history in 2016. You know what happened? White people who did not vote turned out higher. What happened in 2020 was a mirage. It was COVID. Democrats made a mistake, Avis, by looking at 2020 as the model because it was COVID. We had nowhere to go. You had ballot drop boxes. You had rules that were changed to make it easier for folks to vote. After COVID, Republicans said, nah, we cutting that shit out because we can't have more people voting. It's in the numbers. If fewer people vote, Republicans win. If more people vote, Republicans lose. What happened this year was simple. White turnout increased dramatically in Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona, Nevada. What happened was Democrat votes dropped. Add in Trump peeling off percentage points in different states and throw in the fact that the Harris campaign was expecting white women, I need everybody to hear me because this is not difficult, y'all. 52% of white women voted for Trump in the last 2 elections. The Harris campaign anticipated that number was going to drop at least 3 points below 50. What did Trump do? Anticipating that, they went hardcore after men, white men. What was their goal? Charlie Kirk actually talked about it. To add 3% to make up for the women. Why did Harris lose? Trump increased the 3% of men and white women didn't drop. That's the election, Avis. So, Scott, you want your damn autopsy. That's where you are. Now you got to have somebody now go, okay, how do we now, Avis, we now know we can't depend upon white women. White women, you can't depend upon them. How do you now construct a winning coalition knowing full well you can't trust white women, and now you got Trump and these other folks now targeting men from a masculine standpoint and all of that. Go ahead.
Well, sometimes I just wonder, why is the Democratic Party stuck on stupid? Okay, why? The Democratic Party has not carried the white vote since the passage of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. And this hyper-focus, this hope and a prayer, this wishing on, with your fingers crossed and your toes crossed that maybe this is the year you're going to be able to have increased white people and specifically white women voting for you. How many elections do we have to lose in that same damn way? I mean, are you stuck on stupid? Why? All right. And what's really disturbing to me is a lot of this faulty analysis that's going on right now in terms of the pseudo autopsies that's happening on cable TV. Nobody's talking about what you're talking about, Roland. Nobody's talking about putting together a coalition. They are still stuck on stupid because they're not even looking at the real problem that you just outlined. Instead, they're sitting here saying, oh, well, it was the economy. And then, oh, well, it's wokeness, okay? And when you're talking about those two things, what you're doing is you're letting white people off the hook. You're not really looking at the data in the way that you're talking about. So they aren't even focused right now on trying to put together a coalition. That's not even their focus right now. Their focus right now is trying to, once again, go after this brass ring, this elusive prize of the white vote that they haven't gotten for over 40 years. Good luck with that strategy. The bottom line is, if they don't start to think about how they can invest over the long term in their base, all the way through to the finish line with regards to both persuasion and turnout, they're going to continue to have these winnable elections that they fall short on because they are devaluing the populations that absolutely have the largest likelihood of actually supporting them and putting too much value in the population that has an increased likelihood of supporting their competitor. It's just completely afoul of common sense.
The thing for me when I talked about how do you focus next, Rebecca, it's very simple. There literally is a state Supreme Court race in Wisconsin. Next year, there are gubernatorial races in Pennsylvania, in Virginia, and not Pennsylvania. I'm sorry, New Jersey, in Virginia. You got those races. Those things are going on. You got trying to keep Don Scott as Speaker of the House in Virginia. You got that happening. You've got local races as well. And so that's really where a focus has to be. And so what do? When you lose, this is real simple. You go back to the drawing board and you say, how do I now reconstitute my team? Listen, my Houston Astros have dominated Major League Baseball for the past decade. We've dominated the American League. Went to the World Series 4 or 5 times. Well, we lost in the first round. Okay, rough season all year. Now, what do you do in the offseason? You sit here and you look at your weaknesses, you assess your strengths, you figure out how to improve your team, and then you go out and get ready to compete. So all of this whining and complaining, and as Ava says, I think it's stupid when James Carville and Maureen Dowd and when Morning Joe, they're all whining, talking about, oh, woke and DEI and identity politics. This is a fact, Rebecca. All politics is identity politics. Mm-hmm. Politics is about how do I grab my share of different groups? How do I increase male voter turnout? That's identity politics, because you're targeting men. How do you target white men? How do you target Latino men? How do you target black men? How do you target gay men? How do you target straight men? How do you target Christian, evangelical, white, conservative men? How do you target Muslim men? How do you that's just men. All politics is about that. So this sheer stupidity of listening to all of these people complain about identity politics, that literally is all politics. What they are not saying, and just go ahead and say it. Stop talking about black people. Stop talking about social justice. Stop talking about equity. Stop talking about equality. Just talk about how we can talk to white people. I'm sorry, James Carville, Joe Scarborough, Maureen Dowd, Mika Brzezinski, and the rest of y'all, just say it.
Why do we expect those who benefit from a racial patriarchy to end a racial patriarchy, right? I mean, there's all these women talking about they're wearing blue nail polish and blue bracelets to show that they're quote unquote the good ones. At the point that you have to say, hey, I got to identify so you don't think I'm a regular Karen, there's a problem. You know, white people in this country really need to figure it out. And black people, stay home, drink your water, moisturize, relax, and focus on your communities. I'm not saying don't vote, but think through it through a strategy. I also hear what Scott's saying, like we need to see a postmortem. I'm not interested in a postmortem, though, by the would-be strategists. I'm more interested from the political science perspective. I actually want to see some of the data. I want to see which people, which demographics, and where geographically, where people, how people showed up. I also want to do like a heat map on top of that, knowing that there are certain states and certain local jurisdictions where it was harder to vote this year than in 2020. And I want to be able to interpolate that on top of each other to truly understand where some of the trends are. But like I said on another network last week, 2010 to about 2016, the Republican Party went through a civil war. I think it is about time for the Democratic Party to go through its civil war and figure out what it wants to be, who it wants to serve moving forward, because right now it is not a winning coalition, because the people who are making the money decisions in the Democratic Party aren't making decisions based upon what's in the best interest of Black people, which is largely the base of the Democratic Party. So there's a disconnect there. And until that is solved, wash, rinse, and repeat, lose and lose again.
But here's the thing here, and this is what I just keep trying to say, and it's not that difficult, Scott. The blessing of the Democratic Party is also its curse. The blessing is you're a big tent. Your curse, you're a big tent.
Right.
And so, so from Republicans, there is no big tent. There are no liberal Republicans. There are no moderate Republicans. You're either right, far right. The reality is, in the Democratic Party, you've got your Bob Casey's of the world, senator from Pennsylvania,
Right.
in the exact same party, and you got Bernie Sanders, who's an independent but Democrat. See, it's amazing how you independent, but you got a lot of stuff to say about Democrats, okay? And so you got that, but it's the same party as, who's the crazy-ass woman, Kristen Sinema down in Arizona. You got Joe Manchin in the same party, but you got Cory Booker in the same party. And then you've got your California senators. You got Durbin. You got, so you got all of that. You do not have that on the Republican side. It don't exist. When they come back, you're going to have Booker, Warnock, Osbrook, and Blunt Rochester, 4 African Americans in the United States Senate who are Democrat. Republicans, who they got? They got, you know, I can't even say his name because he get on my damn, I know his name. I know his name. But you got, you know, you got him over there. Okay.
The Cosby character.
I mean, so you got, so what people have to understand, so what you have is, you have all of these competing interests. And so now what you have to do is you have to satisfy all of these competing interests in a party to build a cohesive message. And then you have folk, well, you ain't paying enough attention to us and to us and to us. That's what you have. And whereas Republicans is like, yo, we appeal to white people. The Republican base is white people. And then they say, let's turn out white people, give me a little bit of black, throw some pepper in there, go ahead and give me a little more chili pepper, Latinos, I got that, and you know what? There we go. But they straight are appealing to white people, and when white people make up 70% of the electorate, that's where you have issues, because you got to compete for white people. And if you don't, if you ignore black people because you're trying to go after white people, you damn sure ain't getting us, and we're your number 1 and number 2 voters. That's the conundrum that they're in, which is why it's dumb for Democrats to be trying to attack woke, trying to attack DEI, trying to attack identity politics, because what they're saying without saying is, I'm talking about black people.
And the idea, the real issue is their privilege, their white privilege. They struggle with being able to say that because at their core, they share white privilege with white conservatives and white Republicans. You know, the Democrats were winning since 2020, 2018, 2020, 2022. So they were somehow able to manage and mold that broad coalition. Just didn't work in 2024 for all the reasons that you gave. And here's a question, Roland. Maybe when you tear it down and when you do that autopsy report, is this broad-based coalition and what our messaging is, maybe in 2024 and beyond, it's not workable. Maybe you embrace the coalition of people of color and the least lost and left out. Maybe you make that your base, mobilize them, and just try to outvote the Republicans' focus on the white voter. Oh my God, white liberals and Democrats would just get sick over that. But that's really been the winning coalition when the Democrats have won, either down ballot or up ballot or at the state level. And so those hard conversations need to take place. But that coalition, including white folks, have got to have an honest conversation with themselves about who they are, but more importantly, who they need to be to win after 2024. Because we're going to have a lot of work to do between 2024 and 2028, but we got to win in 2028 to undo the damage that this country is going to go through under Trump for 4 years. Because remember, Republicans do this all the time. They get a decent economy, the best economy in the world. They screw it up, the Democrats win, and then Republicans blame us for not fixing their economy as efficiently and as effectively that we received, as efficiently and effectively as we should. They do it every time. They did it to Obama, they did it to Biden, and now the Republicans have won in 2024. They're going to give us a shitty economy in 2028, and they're going to blame us for not fixing it.
Well, I just think that, and I keep saying this, Avis, I'm going to need white Democrats to go talk to white people. I'm going to need white Democrats. See, all these white Democrats keep talking about, yeah, we got to have conversations. No. I need you to take your ass. I need these white Democrats to take their asses to rural Georgia.
That's right.
And North Carolina and talk to white people. I don't even come talking to black people. And you also, Avis, have got to just own up to, we're dealing with people who ain't smart. The New York Times did this big story, Avis, on these late deciders and people who are 30 and under. Okay, this is just some of the responses. Pierce, 26 years old, from North Carolina, white, works in sales, didn't vote in 2020. I voted for Donald Trump. I decided after Kamala went on to call her daddy. Wow. Lillian, 27 years old, in Virginia, white, works in digital advertising, voted for Trump in 2020. I voted for Trump and made that decision the same day the mainstream media was having a meltdown after the Madison Square Garden rally. I also saw an ad from Democrats about abortion misinformation that really made me upset. I said, you know what? I'm going to vote for Trump. Everybody hates him. They're lying about pregnancies. Let's just do it. Lillian is a liar. But Lillian also was mad that mainstream media was calling it a hate fest because Lillian,
when it was a hate fest.
Because it was a hate fest because Lillian, yes, you, 27-year-old white Lillian, Virginia, you agreed. That's why you didn't see it as a hate fest. All right, let's go to the next one. Jack, 22 years old, from New York, white, underwriter, voted for Biden in 2020. I wrote in Mike Bloomberg. I don't like either top of the ticket. Well, dumbass Jack, did Mike Bloomberg win? Did Mike Bloomberg have a shot? So that was a waste. How about this here? McClain, 25 years old, out of D.C., white, works in the legal field, wrote in Romney in 2020. I shocked myself and voted for Trump. No one tell my family. I was so impressed by J.D. Vance, the way he carried himself and how normal he appeared. I think I became radicalized on the men and women's sports issue. The ad that said Kamala represents they, them, Trump represents you. That was so compelling. While Trump is deranged, I need everybody. Matter of fact, let me just blow this up. I need everybody to see this. While Trump, y'all, this is a quote. While Trump is deranged, he represented normalcy somehow to me.
Oh, God.
No
Avis,
word.
there is no campaign strategy. There's no message. There's no commercial that could have picked. While Trump is deranged, Davis, he represented normalcy somehow to me.
Well, that's true. I mean, let's just call a thing a thing. He's not lying. He's not lying. That is America. That is him. And here's the part where the Democrats really bet on the wrong thing, right? They really focused on this issue about the threat to democracy. You know, there's been research out there that has looked at white attitudes in America and their relationship with democracy. And the reality is that white people who hold racially intolerant views do not want democracy. They don't want it. They see what's happening with our country, with our population, with the whole replacement theory, and they don't want democracy. They no longer want majority rule if they believe that they're not going to be in the majority. And so, of course, the derangement makes sense to him. Of course, Madison Square Gardens is not offensive to her. Of course it's not, because that's not their priority. They do not want this democratic ideal that the Democrats are trying to sell to America and that they want to romanticize that all these white people love so much and want to protect. They don't give a damn about democracy. unless they feel pretty guaranteed that they will be in charge. And that's why they do everything possible to undermine democracy with regards to the attacks on voting rights and with regards to all of the shenanigans that will happen once this tyrant gets in office. And that's going to be exactly what they voted for, and it's exactly what they want.
Rebecca?
Yeah, and Roland, we keep...
wait. Hold on. Rebecca?
Go right ahead.
You know, to Avis's point, yeah, there are a lot of people who actually want a theocracy. They want their particular white Jesus worldviews to be the law of the land in this country. Even when we think about the foundation of this country, they were fighting a monarch. They weren't necessarily looking for a true representational democracy. And then they took some of the thought leadership from some of the First Nations, from some of the indigenous people in this country who already had a form of representation government within some of the indigenous nations. They stole it. They took it like, okay, great. This sounds like a great idea. But in reality, that's not really what they wanted. They wanted a republic. They wanted to have a loose confederation of people who weren't ruled by a monarchy. No, to Avis's point, yeah, this is reflective of America. And for people to think otherwise is simply delusional, which is why I'm telling Black people, we got to save ourselves. We got to be our own saviors. We have to figure this out for ourselves, because at this point, it's very clear in America, we only got us.
Scott?
Yeah, but Roland, we keep, Avis is absolutely right, but we keep thinking, whether you're in the Beltway or outside the Beltway, Democrats keep thinking, notwithstanding the laws, that that's not America, that America cares about those issues, that America, but they don't, for the reasons Avis gave. And until we figure out who America really is and tell ourselves, be truthful about it, we're going to keep thinking and acting as if who we want America to be or who America wants to be. But America has always suffered from racism and sexism and misogyny and xenophobia. It has. And we keep telling ourselves, as Professor Glaude says, that we're not, because we don't want to confront, at least white America doesn't want to confront that reality. So they come up with the economy and gas prices and food prices as to why people voted for Donald Trump. No, Donald Trump is a product of America. America is who Donald Trump is. And that's why he got 80+ million votes. That's a painful reality, that is who we are, not who we want to be. We're not that more perfect union. And that's a big part of why he won in 2024.
Folks, a lot of people we're going to talk about this next. A lot of people are now fleeing Twitter as a result of apartheid Elon Musk owning it. And of course, standing with Donald Trump. We will talk about that when we come back on Tech Talk right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Don't forget, folks, support the work that we do. And I'm going to shout out everybody who gives during the show. If you give via Cash App, utilize Stripe. Use this QR code right here. We told you Cash App shut down all of the accounts because they changed their rules. And so if you want to use Cash App to give to us, use this Stripe QR code to do so. Send your check and money order, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C., 20037-0196. PayPal, R. Martin. Come on, guys. Come on. Thank you. PayPal, R. Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jackie Hood Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for a Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. We'll laugh together, cry together, pull ourselves together, and cheer each other on. So join me for new shows each Tuesday on Black Star Network, A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie.
Hatred on the streets, a horrific scene, a white nationalist rally that descended into deadly violence.
White people are losing their damn minds.
As an angry pro-Trump mob storms the U.S. Capitol, we've seen shooting.
We're about to see the rise of what I call white minority resistance. We have seen white folks in this country who simply cannot tolerate black folks voting.
I think what we're seeing is the inevitable result of violent denial.
This is part of American history. Every time that people of color have made progress, whether real or symbolic, there has been what Carol Anderson at Emory University calls white rage as a backlash.
This is the rise of the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys. America, there's going to be more of this.
Here's all the Proud Boys, guys.
This country is getting increasingly racist in its behaviors and its attitudes because of the fear of white people.
The fear that they're taking our jobs, they're taking our resources, they're taking our women. This is white fear.
Hi, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Fanbase is a free-to-download, free-to-use, next-generation social media platform that allows anyone to have followers and subscribers on the same page. Fanbase was built through investment dollars from equity crowdfunding from the Jobs Act. People just like you helped build Fanbase, and we're looking for more people to help build Fanbase. We are currently raising $17 million in a Regulation A crowdfund on StartEngine. We've already crossed $2.1 million, but we're looking to raise more capital from people just like you that deserve the opportunity to invest in early stage startups without having to be accredited investors. So right now, I'd like you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase right now, today. And then use Fanbase to connect with friends, grow your audience, and be you without limits.
This is Tamala Mann.
And this is David Mann. And you're watching Roland Martin
Unfiltered.
All right, folks, ever since the election, a lot of people have been leaving Twitter. Folks have been making announcements saying they are leaving the app. Well, this has also been happening since Elon Musk bought it because guess what? It has turned into a cesspool. That's right, an absolute cesspool of hate, of right-wing content. Now, remember, during this election, guess what he did? Elon Musk literally was force-feeding right-wing content into all of our timelines. He absolutely changed the algorithm to help Donald Trump and Republicans. One of the apps that's benefiting from that is Blue Sky. Somebody posted this earlier today. They said 90 days ago, Blue Sky had 6.18 million users. 30 days ago, Blue Sky had 10.85 million users. Tomorrow, Blue Sky will have 15 million users. This is absolutely wild. Thanks for believing in us, y'all. And then Isaac Hayes III, the founder of Fanbase, tweeted this. He posted, he said, look how fast the white community stood on business and it's leaving X for Blue Sky. And he shows here where Blue Sky is the #1 app. TikTok actually is not even the top 25. And his app Fanbase is number 79. He joins us right now. So Isaac, first and foremost, again, people are leaving because they're saying, I don't want to support hate. I don't want to support Elon Musk because he is telling Donald Trump what to do. That's actually happening in real time.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're looking at a revolution and a change and shift in all social media platforms. You got to understand that China owns TikTok, Mark Zuckerberg owns Instagram and Facebook, Trump owns True Social, Elon owns X. And so right now, there's about to be a dawn of a new era of social media platforms because these platforms have been taken over primarily by right-wing or communist ideologies that are going to try to manipulate and control Americans. So that's one of the reasons, like I said, why I founded Fanbase. I saw that we were number 79 or something on the app. So right now we're currently number 52. So people are downloading Fanbase and coming to the platform. So it's a shift. This is a very vulnerable time for the establishment apps because right now is where we collectively can own the next app like Fanbase and then move forward and build it together, large community.
But it's not just Elon owning Twitter, China owning TikTok. You've got folks like Mark Zuckerberg, who he shifts with the wind. He's all about whose ass can I kiss when it comes to regulations, and so he was standing on business with Democrats, and all of a sudden, they want limits, so let me go on to the Republican side. Then the Republicans were threatening to target him. Let me slide up next to Trump. And you go on Facebook now, they have completely capitulated to right wing. They push their content like crazy, and they have frankly shadow banned in a huge way, in a very public way, black content, news content. And so Zuckerberg right now is all about kissing Trump's butt. You see Jeff Bezos, this man is a multiple billionaire worth what, 100, 200 million, 200 billion, whatever he's worth. And then he's trying to kiss Trump's ass by the Washington Post not endorsing because, Trump could target his moneymaker, Amazon. So you would think, you hear the phrase, you got FU money. These folks got FU money, but they still are running scared of these right-wingers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the thing that I don't think people realize. While we live and play and exist on these platforms and these apps, we don't understand who owns these platforms. Like Peter Thiel, who is an investor in Facebook and Instagram, was also behind Polymarket, and the FBI just raided the Polymarket's founder's house or whatever and took his phone. So there's a lot going on. There's a larger game at play that I don't think while we're enjoying social media, living life, posting photos and stories and all that kind of stuff, there's a larger chess game going on above us. And that is the reason why Fanbase is where we are right now. And we're in a very, very promising and opportunity position because I want people to realize now that there's going to be another era and phase, especially the black community. Like, listen, I've seen everybody complain after this election of how they're upset about the results, how they're upset about Twitter, and how they're upset about all these platforms censoring their content. And to your audience out there right now, this is the time to download this app. This is the time to invest in Fanbase because I have a laundry list of things that people really want me to bring to the platform and build. And we're already a very solid established platform, but I'm ready to take on these giants. As Will.i.am said when we did Investathon, I'm not afraid to take on these giants, and we have to seize this opportunity to own the next era of social media platforms. And so I'm saying let's forge on, let's invest, let's build our own communities. The election kind of showed us that we are all that we have, and if we're not working together and utilizing our resources to uplift one another, especially in the tech space, we're going to be left behind. We're going to be left in the dust.
Well, what's also changed is that we saw the role that content creators played in this election, how both candidates were appealing to them, how the right really had their well-funded ecosystem. And the thing that I keep articulating to folks is this here. I'm not interested in complaining about, oh man, I got 1.3 million followers on Facebook and they're shadow banning our content. I mean, if I sit here and pull up, and I talk about it all the time, if I go to Facebook right now, it's crazy. We've had more than 5,000 plus folks who've been watching us on YouTube, and we've got 1.4 million. We're about to hit 1.5 billion. We're very close to it. We're actually 1,497,521 subscribers on YouTube. Yet, if I go over here to Facebook and look at, I've had 1.3 million followers on Facebook. The number has not grown in quite some time. If I look at those numbers, You know what I'm gonna find? I'm gonna find. I think yesterday was like 105 people who were actually watching our show live, and so that's what they're actually doing. This is the moment. What I keep saying is this is our moment to now say, you know what? I'm not about to sit here and keep playing your game. Let me go somewhere where I actually have some robust content.
Well, I mean, Fanbase has like 6 content formats right now. So we have posts, which are photos and videos, stories, live, audio chat rooms, long form content that we call plus. And so we really want people to, take advantage of this. Like right now, like I want you to clip this segment and listen to what I'm saying right now. I'm hearing that people want their own version of Twitter, right? And what people don't understand about what I'm doing, the difference between us and Blue Sky, right, is Blue Sky's raised $25 million from venture capital. They got the bag, right? I've raised about $13 million over 4 years. If I could raise $13 million in 4 weeks, I could catch Blue Sky, I could catch TikTok, I could catch Instagram relatively quickly. And that's why I do programs like these to talk about the importance of that. And secondly, you're actually owning the platform now. You're not just, you use Instagram, you use TikTok, but you don't own it. You use X, you're going to use Blue Sky, but do you sit on the cap table of this company and allow yourself to be able to be a shareholder and then advance it? So I tell everybody, the minimum to invest in Fanbase is $399. We're moving up on the holiday season. The stock market shot up. We know how much money we raised for Kamala. The money is there. I ask everybody that is watching this to go to StartEngine.com right now, /Fanbase, and invest the minimum of $399. Again, I say this all the time. If I can get 10,000 people, more than 1 million people watch your program all the time, Roland. Like every day I see the videos on YouTube, be 1 million views, 500,000 views. If we can have 10,000 people invest $399 in the next few days, I'll have $4 million that I can really scale this. I can build Twitter-like functionality. We're already working on RTMP streaming for gamers. I mean, there's so much there already, but we have to capitalize on this moment. If we don't, we're going to regret it. We're just going to join somebody else's app that we don't own, get suppressed. Whenever something happens in our community that we need to talk about, we're not going to have our voices be able to be heard. We're going to get locked out of the conversation, and we're going to get locked out of the economic conversation. My phone's been ringing all day from a lot of different people that are investing. Ebro is bringing Ebro in the morning over to Fanbase. I've talked with so many people in the last few hours just today. I want to drive Fanbase up. Imagine this: Fanbase is number 1 or number 2 in social media on the Apple App Store. That gives the visibility that these other VCs have to look at and respect and say, okay, look, we already have over 1 million downloads, and we're less than 100,000 away from actually having 1 million active accounts on Fanbase. And so I want people to become part of this community. I want people to invest in this app. I want people to own this and literally own our culture. Like, these platforms don't work without us, right? They don't. You see what Kai Cenat did the other day. He broke the streaming record on Twitch. They banned him in the middle of it, and then they put some sort of insensitive tweet up after he broke the record. And it's like, enough is enough. If we do not seize this moment right now, and I know your community is a very engaged and connected community, and they are transactional, and I want people to invest. I'm telling you right now, we have over 15,000 investors, but this is my call to everybody out there that sees this and understands 10,000 people, $399. I have $4 million, and I'm telling you, I'm off to the races. Well, it's all things so fast and so quickly. I can double my development team. There's so many things that I can do. So please, please, please tell your people, download Fanbase.
So the point I was,
we got to take this opportunity.
The point I was saying also is that in order to build that functionality, you got to have the resources. And so I do believe that the next piece for Fanbase is being have that Twitter-like functionality, Threads-like functionality, which is Blue Sky, because a lot of people just type versus posting videos and photos. But I mean, that resources matter. Rebecca, your question.
You know, for many of us, we're supporting, we're on Fanbase, we have invested. How can we make sure that we're amplifying this message to help folks know, especially Black communities, to know that this is a safe online space? Because one thing that I've noticed from being on Twitter is that anytime I post anything, and if I mention anything about race, if I mention anything about being a Black woman, if I even repost that type of thing, there's a lot of trolling and there's a lot more aggressive vitriol that I'm getting on that platform. So what do we need to do for people to understand that Fanbase is a safe space for people to be able to interact digitally?
Well, Elon got rid of it. His entire trust and safety team resigned shortly after, so they haven't had a trust and safety team over on Fanbase. You know, we have community guidelines, we have terms of service, we have a privacy policy, we monitor what goes on the platform. We want to provide a space for people to have dialogue and disagree, whether that's through video or audio chat or live or whatever it is. But, you know, at the same time, I want people to know that Fanbase is a safe space and a place for people to come and just join the community. So people are fine over there. But again, I understand that and hear that because people want to be able to express themselves, all people. And we're moving in this new era in this country where they're getting rid of anything, DEI, rights, all kinds of things. They're going to discard all of these things. And so there's going to have to be a place where people can convene, coalesce, can have conversation.
Indeed, indeed. Folks, go to StartEngine.com/Fanbase to get more information. Go ahead and pull it up, y'all. Pull it up.
Yeah, pull that up.
Come on, guys. Control room. Y'all have got to, come on now. What are we doing? Y'all got to move a lot faster than that. You should have the page already up, folks. Let me go ahead and pull it. No. Pull up. I'm pulling up my damn self. Okay. This don't make any sense why we didn't have that page ready. All right, here we go. So again, folks, if you go to StartEngine.com/Fanbase, StartEngine.com/Fanbase, this is it right here. You'll actually see, if you go there, you'll see all the information there, all the background information for you to invest in it. And again, it's about not only using the app, but also investing in it, having an ownership stake. Isaac Hayes III, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, to all the panel, Rebecca, thanks a lot. Scott, thanks a bunch. Let me thank Avis as well for joining us. Appreciate y'all being on today's show. Folks, don't forget, look, we're out here doing the work, just what Isaac is doing, building Fanbase, what we're doing, building the Black Star Network. We have to have our own spaces. I'm telling y'all, if we waiting on somebody else, and asking them permission for us to have conversations, yo, we're going to be screwed. I'm telling y'all right now. What we discuss here, you're not having the conversation on other platforms. You're not having other progressive hosts have the conversations that we have right here on this show. And so that's what you have to understand. And so support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Funk fan club, folks. We've had nearly 32,000 donors since we launched 6 years ago. That has been critical to our success. You should become a donor. If you're already given, give again if you can. We ask if you can give $50. If you give less, that's fine. If you give more, that's fine as well. If you want to use Cash App, use the app Stripe. This is the QR code right here to use Stripe to be able to give to our Bring the Funk fan club. And so just click, use the QR code. Click Cash App to continue. Also, you can see your check and money order, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C., 20037-0196. PayPal is rmartinunfiltered, paypal.me/rmartinunfiltered. Of course, we also, you can also use Venmo. Venmo, of course, is RM Unfiltered. And then, of course, Zelle, Roland@RolandSMartin.com, Roland@RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. And so be sure to download the Black Star Network app, Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. Be sure to get a copy of my book, White Fear, How the Browning of America is Making White Folks Lose Their Minds, available at bookstores nationwide. And so be sure to get that. Let's see here. What else I got to announce? Anything else I got to announce? Let's see here. I think that is it. Yo, y'all on YouTube, hurry up, hit the like button. We should be, man, y'all been on here commenting left and right. Let's hurry up and hit 2,500 likes. We need 200 to hit 2,500 likes on YouTube. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, folks. We are less than We're about 2,500 away on YouTube from hitting 1.5 million subscribers. Again, we are 1,500 away from hitting 1.5 million. We started this show 6 years ago with 157,000 subs. Now we're almost at 1.5 million. And so if you're not subscribing to this channel, please hit the subscribe button. Also, folks, let me give a shout out to my brother, Reginald Martin Jr. Today is his 57th birthday. That's him on the right. That's me on the left. That was us at the World Series 2021. So big happy birthday to my brother Reginald. His son Christopher, his birthday was yesterday. Christopher turned 17 yesterday. Reggie turned 57 today. And of course, my birthday is tomorrow. And I turned 56. That's right, we're 1 year, 1 day behind each other. And so, folks, that's it. Thank you so very much for joining the show. Be sure to share our videos with as many people as possible. Like them as well. How we break apart the show, the clips and everything. Yo, same thing, because, y'all, we're building something here, and I can't wait. I'm looking forward to launching a couple of new shows in 2025. So we're trying to make this thing happen. So please, please support the work that we're doing, because trust me, ain't nobody coming to save us but us. And we are straight up all about standing up and supporting African Americans. Folks, I'll see y'all tomorrow right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Holla! Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punch!
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America. All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?